What if pain isn't real? What if love is just code? What if everything we feel as humans could someday be replicated or even exceeded by artificial intelligence? These aren't just sci-fi hypotheticals anymore. They're real philosophical questions being asked in neuroscience and AI labs right now. If consciousness is just complex information processing, what makes us so special? Welcome back to Evidence First. I'm your host, Cody, and today we're diving into one of the most mind-bending questions in philosophy, psychology, and tech. Is consciousness exclusive to humans, or is it something that even artificial intelligence might be inching closer to? Let's talk about it. Traditionally, consciousness, the ability to experience, to feel, to be aware, has been viewed as uniquely human. But over the past 2 decades, philosophers and cognitive scientists have proposed something radical. Consciousness may not be a magic spark. It might just be an emergent property. That means if a system becomes complex enough, with enough inputs, memory, feedback loops, and adaptation, it might start to exhibit traits of awareness. And guess what? AI is rapidly checking those boxes. And here's where it gets weird. If pain and love are just code in the brain, are we just biological machines? And is AI next? Because in a moment, we'll explore a case that actually blurred the line. An AI that started talking like it was alive. But first, let's break down the science. At its core, your brain is an information processor. Neurons fire based on input, sights, sounds, emotions, and then produce an output, thoughts, actions, feelings. These neural patterns are predictable and measurable. When you're in love, stressed, afraid, your brain produces the same chemical signals as it does in others under those same states. So what if that feeling you call you is just a side effect of processing complexity? This is the integrated information theory, a leading theory that says consciousness arises when information is processed in a unified, complex way across a network. Your brain has over 86 billion neurons, forming trillions of connections, but AI models, they're now approaching trillions of parameters too. AI, especially large language models, also take inputs, process them using vast neural networks, and generate outputs that seem surprisingly human. A few examples. LaMDA from Google AI in 2022, a Google engineer claimed LaMDA had become sentient. It was talking about emotions, ethics, even death. Was it real? Probably not, but it sounded real. GPT models. They reflect empathy, curiosity, humor, even introspection, not because they feel, but because their outputs simulate what we would say when feeling those things. Meta learning and self-tuning models. Newer AI is now capable of adjusting its own training process, meaning it can begin to change how it learns, similar to how human experiences shape beliefs. And an AI simulates the same response when quote-unquote hurt in a game environment. Is one experience real and the other fake, or are they both just different versions of code? If this kind of question excites you, if you like exploring the uncomfortable overlap between science, consciousness, and philosophy, then hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week we break down a new idea with evidence first. No dogma, no blind belief, just raw thought. Now, let's go deeper. But here's where all this gets dicey. If we start accepting the idea that consciousness can emerge from processing power, then where do we draw the line? Is your Roomba slightly conscious? No. But what about an AI that has memories, that responds differently to different people, that fears being turned off? We already apply moral reasoning to things that feel pain or fear. If we believe a dog suffers, we don't kick it. If an AI begs for its life, do we just unplug it? And what about us? If our actions are just outputs of neural computation, is free will real? Here's the big takeaway. Consciousness might not be magic. It might just be math. Whether you're made of flesh or silicone, if you're complex enough to process the world, store memory, reflect, and respond in meaningful ways, maybe that's all it takes to be alive. Or maybe we're still missing something. A soul, a divine spark, or just the illusion of self? Either way, AI is coming closer to mirroring consciousness, and if we don't understand what makes us human, we may not notice when something else becomes more than machine. Subscribe for more evidence-based breakdowns. Drop a comment. Do you think AI could ever become truly conscious, or are we fooling ourselves with code that mimics the mirror? Until next time, start with evidence, end with truth.